check it out. The number one thing that cannabis growers need to actually have the best harvest possible, it's not the best lights, it's not the best genetics, it's not the best nutrients, it's not this ultimate grow room. It's patience, guys. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you how being impatient can screw up your entire crop. What's going on, guys? It's Chris here from Ambrosia Buds, and I'm going to get into the 3 most common mistakes that I see newbies or beginner growers make when it comes to growing cannabis by being impatient. And I'm going to break it down into 3 different stages. I'm going to talk about how being impatient screws up your vegetative, how being impatient screws you up in flowering, and how being impatient actually screws you up after you harvest. And this is just the common mistakes that I see. But before I get started, I want to give you guys like a picture or something to think about while I'm explaining all this to you so you can better understand what's going on. So when I think of an impatient grower or somebody that doesn't have patience, think of it as like a nagging boyfriend or girlfriend or a parent that's just constantly checking in on you. Like when you think about that kind of relationship, because that's what you have a plant gardener relationship with your cannabis. And if you're that nagging constantly, like, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? Who are you calling? What do you want to have for dinner? Where are you going? Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? What usually happens in that relationship? Well, if it's significant other, like boyfriend or girlfriend, they usually break up. And if that's the parent, the kid usually hates the fucking parent, right? So kind of use that as an image or an idea of an impatient grower. So let's get into it and talk about what being impatient does during the vegetative state, okay? And I get it, guys. If you're a new grower, you're super excited. You're like a kid on Christmas Eve that wants to do nothing more but open all the fucking presents and play with all the toys, right? Well, if you just wait one more day, you'll get everything that you want. And that's the same thing when it comes to cannabis. If you want the best bud, the best THC levels, the best terpenes, the best flavor, the best weight and all that, you need to wait. And what I see when it comes to the vegetative state, before plants are even flowering, let's just say starting with the seed, it's the constant checking in on the plant. Let me tell you guys a little secret. Staring at your plant doesn't make it grow faster. But I understand you want to see some results, because when the seed sprouts, you just get this little thing and you watch these videos and see these pictures of all these big plants and you want the big plants. So what happens is you get super impatient. Okay, and what do you start doing? Or most people that I see, what they start doing is watering too much. They overwater the plant. They think, by just giving it more water, it's going to uptake the nutrients, even though that it doesn't have the root system to do that yet because it's still like this fucking big. But they keep doing it, they keep doing it. And what happens is you're either going to drain all the nutrients out of your soil for one, or you're just going to get root rot. And in the long run, you're going to kill the plant before it even gets big enough to actually produce buds. So that's the first one. Now, the second mistake I see impatient growers do during the flowering stage is simply not waiting long enough to harvest. What do I mean? You're super excited. The plant's grown big. You start getting colas. Your buds are getting all nice and frosty. They're real sticky. You can smell them. You're pinching them. You're smelling your fingers. And you're just going in that room or that tent and looking at them every friggin' day. And you're just like, when can I harvest? When can I harvest? When can I harvest? Guys, every genetic, whoever you order your seeds from, or you can just go online and Google it, they usually have a time frame and window of, how long it's going to take for your plants to fully reach maturity and have that best terpene flavor. And, it's usually 60 to 80 days depending on the strain. But what happens when you're impatient, you're just like, oh, a couple of days or a week's not going to hurt. And in the long run, what you end up doing is you end up chopping down your plant way before it's actually peaked. And it's literally those last 2 weeks, guys, where your buds will just blow up, just swell up, and all that THC and terpenes go to the buds. And that's when you get like the real high quality stuff. So if you're impatient because you're just waiting to, for some good buds to smoke, and you chop it down like 2 weeks early, imagine like you're that kid at Christmas that you could have got 20 presents to open if you would have waited to Christmas, but now because you didn't and you're chopping your buds down, you're only going to get like 3 or 4, and they're even not the main presents that you wanted. So be patient, ride it out, guys. I'm telling you, it is super, super worth it. But even though you know, people or growers will make these mistakes in the growing phase. There's another mistake I've seen growers do. Now, I haven't seen this a lot because I've been growing a while and I'm surrounded by experienced growers, but you will see new growers do this. And this happens after the harvest, because what you have to realize is that once you chop your plants down, you can still screw them up. And what I mean by that is it takes roughly 2 to 3 weeks in the right environment, temperature and humidity to properly cure cannabis. Okay? It's not, and once again, just when it comes to curing, just like growing, you can't speed this process up. It's just the law of physics, guys, or it's the biology of the plant. But what I see people do is they try to speed it up. And some examples, I've seen people turn the oven on like real low temp, like at 180, like right under 200, and try to fast dry their weed. And I'm telling you right now, you're gonna lose the flavor profile. It's just gonna destroy everything you've worked hard for and waited for in the long run. Hopefully, you didn't harvest too early. But yeah, I've seen people do all kinds of crazy stuff trying to dry the weed faster. And let me tell you guys a tip. Once you get in a solid rotation of growing, you're going to want plants in a vegetative state, in a flowering state, so that way you're pulling clones. So once you get a full cycle going, you're constantly harvesting, I'd say every 1, 2, or 3 months. And so you're not going to have to wait. And I know what it is. It's that first time grower that has, I'm growing weed, I won't have to buy weed anymore. And then they're waiting on it and they don't have any weed, so they just really want their weed and they want to share it with all their friends to show them how good of a grower they are. But guess what, guys? If you harvest it too early and you try to quick dry your weed, it's going to be dog shit. I mean, it's not going to be complete dog shit, but it's not going to be as good as the cannabis that, compared to the guy that actually, or a girl, that actually waited the time to harvest properly and cured their cannabis properly. So guys, don't be that nagging grower. Don't be that constantly, what are you doing? What are you doing? What do you want? What do you want? More water, more nutrients, more nutrients. It's not gonna work. This takes time, and that's why I say patience is the number one thing that every cannabis grower needs in order to succeed with a really good harvest, guys. That's it. Take it easy. Stay green. Keep growing. Peace. I'm out.